Strong foundations are an absolute prerequisite for all building. Foundations affect significantly the durability and use of a building. Any mistakes in a foundation are not usually visible, but later on they cause costly and difficult to repair damages in the building and the footing itself. The main purpose of a foundation is to transfer structural loads to the ground or rock bottom or piers. Foundations also even out terrain surface variations and affect the appearance of a building. The Soklex foundation system is a modern progressive way of making a strong and durable on-site cast-reinforced concrete foundation for a house. The Soklex ready-made form is a pre-reinforced and insulated cast form for low foundations, and it is used to cast a footing and pedestal at the same time. A good result is ensured with a very stable footing split. The 4-meter-long forms have accurate dimensions. They can be easily tooled with ordinary hand tools, and therefore they are also very suitable for independent builders. Making corners and oriels is also easy. Because of good insulation, casting can be done also during winter. Furthermore, because of the structure of the Soklex form, consumption of concrete is lower than with the old methods. Before building the foundation plans and drawings must be complete and approved by the municipal authorities. According to the building statutes, each building job shall have a site manager, in most cases a building engineer approved by the local building board, who is responsible for that the ground, foundation and location inspections are performed in due time. When designing a foundation, the following points of the subgrade must be considered: ground-bearing pressure, frost susceptibility, water transmission ability, capillarity. In order to select the foundation method and depth, the soil type and structure should be established. The most important properties are ground-bearing pressure, frost susceptibility, water transmission ability and capillarity. You should begin the soil exploration together with the building officials. The municipal engineer's office may also have complete soil maps that show sufficiently accurate information on the soil. Based on the soil exploration, the structural designer selects the foundation method and determines the required pedestal width and reinforcements. On low ground-bearing pressure soils, the foundation is staked with reinforced concrete or steel piers. Soklex is suitable both for reinforced steel and for steel pier foundations. A foundation is made either by casting with reinforced concrete or by building up with ashlars. Concrete can be cast to a board or plywood sheathing, or you can use the easy and fast EPS ready-made form. A concrete foundation can also consist of precast concrete members. When using the EPS ready-made form, you can completely forget the laborious boxing work. When you use the EPS ready-made form, the pedestal and footing are made at the same time. Furthermore, the ready-made form includes reinforcements with correct dimensions. The hardest and strongest foundations are naturally obtained with reinforced concrete. Soklex.fi manufactures Soklex foundation systems, and Soklex Urakointi.fi installs them. Since 1989, Soklex.fi has manufactured ready-made forms and insulation plates from expanded polystyrene or EPS. The ISO 9002 quality system is applied to all the activities of the companies. EPS is a closed-cell expanded polystyrene plastic with good insulation properties. EPS insulation is an environmentally friendly and completely recyclable material whose insulation is based on stationary air in a closed structure. Pentane, that is used as a propellant in the EPS insulation, does not contain chlorine, and thus it does not destroy the ozone layer of the atmosphere. The EPS ready-made forms and insulation plates are not biologically degradable. Neither do they decompose, putrefy or grow mouldy. EPS does not contain any substances dangerous to humans or the environment. When selecting a suitable foundation method and Soklex ready-made form for a construction target, the most important factors affecting the selection are wall structure, terrain conditions, height of the footing remaining visible, capacity of the foundation soil, footing insulation requirements, and the height of floor in respect to the footing. Wall wainscoting material and position of the bottom course determine the required foundation width and position of the split insulation. Pedestal width is determined based on the capacity of the foundation soil. The contact pressure from the pedestal to the soil should not exceed the maximum allowed pressure. In general, footing insulation requirements are higher for residential and other warm buildings than for semi-warm and cold ones. Split insulated models are used in warm and non-split models in cold buildings. The ready-made forms are always installed according to the structural plan. Usually, the installation is started by digging footing lines 200 to 300 millimeters below the foundation level or to the bearing stratum. Fill the footing lines with frost-resistant gravel that is leveled with the foundation level and carefully packed with a vibration slab. During this stage, also the under-drainage of the building is laid in. Its purpose is to keep the foundation dry. The under-drainage is always installed below the bottom surface of the pedestal. On the compacted lay-down even gravel layer, about 600 to 800 millimeter long planks or high compressive strength EPS planks crosswise between every 2 meters. There must be 2 planks under each Soklex ready-made form. Level the planks exactly to the correct height. Because the dimensions of the form are accurate, the height of the top edge of the footing is correct without separate measuring. The top level of the plank is the lower surface level of the pedestal. Use of a ground wire facilitates installation. Start laying down the forms at one of the corners of the building by tooling the ends of the ready-made forms of the corner to fit with each other. You can tool the expanded polystyrene with ordinary hand tools, for example, a fine-tooth saw or a knife. You can also use a hot wire or a chainsaw. You can glue pieces of EPS, for example, with urethane glues or PU foam. When making corners, use separate angle sections or bend the form steels at the site with a pipe. Install the next form by threading the reinforcement element extension of the elements so that they overlap, and by tying the overlap reinforcement elements together with lashing wires. Proceed in this manner until all the forms of the building's circumference have been installed. Start the final gravel filling from inside of the ready-made forms with a gravel layer of approximately 100 millimeters. At this stage, lay also down the external horizontal Soklex frost insulation. Fill the external side to the final ground level and the internal side to the level of the base floor insulation by layers. During filling, monitor that the ready-made forms remain in place and the pedestal lines are straight. The best way to ensure this is to use a ground wire. Support the upper end of the form with anchored wooden braces at about 2-meter intervals and ensure also that the outer edge is straight. Hang the reinforcement elements of the ready-made form on the crosswise planks so that the distance of the bottom bars is at least 50 millimeters from the undergravel. Normally set in concrete, specified by the structural designer, is suitable for casting the foundation. Usually the concrete has a hardness class of K25 or alternatively weather-resistant concrete, hardness class K30. The recommended maximum mass grain size is 16 millimeters with a consistence of 1 to 2 VB degrees. When ordering concrete, always mention the hardness and consistent classes and the maximum grain size. Pumping the concrete is often the most practical solution when you wish to save work and speed up casting. Apply concrete evenly between the inner and outer shells with coats of approximately 200 to 300 millimeters. Batten the coats using an immersion vibrator with a maximum diameter of 28 millimeters. Compaction should be done carefully so the concrete penetrates all over the form and surrounds the reinforcements. Fill the form evenly on both sides of the split. We recommend the use of an 80 millimeter hose reductioner. After casting and compaction, the concrete surface should be quickly shielded in order to prevent quick drying, otherwise the surface may crack as water evaporates. Foundation concrete can be cured by watering it and by covering the cast tightly with a plastic sheet. Use heated mass for concreting in winter. In winter, the cast should be covered with a cast mat or an insulation plate so that the concrete does not freeze before it has reached the freezing strength of 5 mm per square meter. After the concrete is set, remove the support of the upper ends of the form. The used boards can be reused. Remove the insulation plate of the external side of the form from the section above the ground level. Special treatment of the inner side of the ready-made form facilitates the removal. You should cut the plate, for example, by sawing so that the edge of the cut plate is approximately 50 millimeters below the final ground level. The plate removed from the visible part of the footing can be used elsewhere for insulation, for example. The footing is finished and only a matte concrete surface, which can be finished if necessary, remains visible. The Soklex foundation system can be used in several different targets. For example, terraced houses, detached houses, holiday homes, small blocks of flats, industrial sheds, and many other targets. The Soklex foundation system is suitable for a basis of most structural solutions. The ready-made form can be used as ground footing and pedestal in low foundations, side member in raft foundations, beam in pile foundations. In addition to the standard Soklex models, many site-specific special solutions are available. Separate footings and pedestals, benching, footing pilasters, curved footings, extra high footings, interior walls, pile footings with a U-form, pillar pedestals, pile covers. Dear builder, you should acquaint yourself carefully with foundations starting from soil exploration and soil burden without forgetting under drainage, draining of rainwater and frost protection. In this way, you can avoid costly and difficult to repair damages in the building and the foundation itself. Reinforced concrete foundation is the best security for your new house, as the hardest and strongest foundations are naturally obtained with reinforced concrete. Using the reinforced and insulated Soklex ready-made forms is the easiest and fastest way to cast a reinforced concrete foundation. The Soklex ready-made forms and insulation plates have been developed in cooperation with new age professional builders to correspond to modern building methods and requirements.